in the company. Without deference, we have a problem. Deference simply means that our council member must get her colleague to side with her in this matter, and if that does happen, it goes away. Because although it will go to the mayor after the city council, it will go to the mayor. The mayor may not like it. The mayor may say, city council, I don't like this. I'm overriding you. But then what happens is, it goes back to the city council after the mayor. And with a 2/3 majority, the mayor gets overridden. The city council is the most powerful entity in this endeavor. And the focus must remain on our council member. People are putting up light bulbs over open New York, over people filming things, making snippets. That's what they do. That's their job. Let them do it. Put the light bulb on, that's fine. You need to put the neon sign on our council member. Our council member needs a neon sign on her saying, we don't want this. What are you doing for us? Are you going to be indifferent to us? She has a lot of backbone, standing up to the little people. Where's the backbone standing up to these guys? Now the narrative that's going to come out about deference, because I've been hearing little chirpings, is that it's not what is called codified. It's not a matter of law. And that is true. That is true, it's not codified. However, what is also is true is that it's a long-standing, time-honored tradition that should not be broken. And why is it in place in the first place? Why is it there? Simply because the city council is not a city-wide office. It's an area or district office. And any attempt by these cowards in the city council to take our community and take our city and use their collective minds as an agenda to push things on communities is an abhorrent behavior. It should not be tolerated. We cannot allow the council member to hide behind the shroud of no votes from her colleagues. We have a council member that sits on 7 committees. 7 committees. To say that she is unable to foster relationships needed to beat this thing from her colleagues would be disingenuous. In high school, if you were on 7 committees, you're in the yearbook as most popular. Let's call it like it is. The bottom line is, she has a network. She has a political network. She's also the district leader of our 82nd AD. So the bottom line is she has connections. She could get this done with a simple reach out to her colleagues. She can make this go away. Now, what would prevent that from going away? Why wouldn't she do that? Let's look at what's going on. Let's look at the big picture. The big picture is this, and people got to realize what's going on throughout the city, throughout the state, actually throughout the country right now. There is a war right now on low-density zoning. A war. And I'm not joking when I say there is a war. At every level of the state, you take from the governor and go all the way down to the local level, city council level, with their alliances with Open New York, etc., you know there is a war. They have anti-low density zoning sentiment. And that is the key. We know it's there. They are overt about it. They are not hiding it. Governor Hochul in January tried to sneak in language into certain documents to get things done to get rid of low-density zoning throughout the state. Unfortunately for her, and fortunately for us, it was caught, and then it had to get changed. The bottom line is, we are now in a war to preserve the low-density lifestyle. And this is about what they want to do here. They want to get rid of a low low-density growth management area that has been in place since 2004. Okay? Now, in the city planning world, because if you watch some of the hearings, in the city planning world, and according to Carol Samuel, who's actually on the lobbyist list for the developers, she believes 18 years is way, way too long to have a low-density growth management designation. Now, let's look at it this way. People buy homes. How long is your mortgage? Your mortgage is longer than that. You buy into a community, you buy into a lifestyle, you buy into a way of life, and now you're telling me that you think 18 years of this is too long? That is just ridiculous in nature. It makes no sense. So you know the city planning sentiment here. City planning is on board with the rest of the government in fighting against the low-density zoning. They are anti-low-density zoning. Now, when you look at how this thing transpired, look at what happened, how this text amendment came into play. How does something go to city planning in September of 2020? How does a letter go there? We're in a world where no one can even burp without someone else knowing. And you're going to tell me from September 2020 to July 2021, 10 months, no one knew about this? No one at city planning knew about this, and there was no contact made with any other agencies? No one? I find it hard to believe a secret like that was kept for 10 months. I'm sorry. I am not buying it. I don't have proof. Listen, I'm going to be honest. This is anecdotal. It's my opinion. But I cannot believe in this day and age that a secret can be kept from one agency and kept out of another with lobbyists and everything else involved for 10 months. It just does not pass the smell test. I'm sorry. Now, I'm glad we're all here today. I'd like to see bigger numbers. We need bigger numbers. We are at war. We need an army. All right? It's nice to have a platoon. It's nice to have a patrol. We need an army. This is where we're at now. We are finally getting to where the rubber meets the road. And we are at really getting to point blank serious now. And the bottom line is pressure must be put on our council member. That is our way to defeat it. We know city planning's attitude. They are not going to go along with us. You heard it already. 18 years is too long. You heard it. The city council member is here to represent us. We voted for her. She knows what we want. Her asking in any venue, tell me what you want, is just unbelievable. You know what you want, right? You know what you want. You know what we want. Can you tell us what you really want? That's what we want to know. Because what you really want is being hidden from us. You're not telling us what you want. Saying I am against this in its current form. Saying I am against this because there's no infrastructure. A little bit conditional there for me. The community is steadfast in what they want. They want building done according to the guidelines and regulations of the low-density growth management area. And to say otherwise is disingenuous on her part. She knows what we want. And on the developer's end, they're saying about, oh, it's only 4 little things on the outlier of the perimeter. Well, if it's 4 little things, why do you need to upzone 34 parcels of land? Why? There is no way to hermetically seal this. You cannot contain this. This is an uncontainable thing. Look at as of right development. Look at contextual zoning. I can tell you right there, when we go up and we walk up to Food Town, I will show you at least 4 buildings that with contextual zoning will be done. And they aren't all on this side of the highway. And that is gospel. All right, because we know what's presented is not going to be what we end up with. And we're a little too smart for that. Now, I know I've been a little long-winded here, and I apologize, but there's certain things that have to be said, and the bottom line is stay focused. The message is stay focused. myopic, small lens, big spotlight, small lens on the councilwoman. Nowhere else. Small lens, big spotlight. This is about we win, she can win. We lose, we got to make sure she loses. Plain and simple. It's a win-win or lose-lose. And there's no other way to put it because the time for niceties is over. It's over and done with. And look, it's not in my nature to really get too nasty, but the bottom line is you're going after a way of life now. We have an obligation. People that preceded us handed us a beautiful community. We have an obligation to hand that community over to those that are going to succeed us. And she is the deterrent to that, or she could be the pathway to that. That is her choice. And then come voting time, it'll be our choice. And it's got to be made clear.
When is voting time?
Well, this plays into our hands in a bit because due to census 2020, we have a shortened 2-year council term. 2023 comes fast. It really does. Before you know it, it'll be campaign time for the city council race. And when that time comes, we got to make it clear. What you did here is going to affect what happens to you. What you do here is going to be a determinant on whether or not you can take that seat. Because the way it works, I have no choice in this. I have no choice. I was left with no choice. I'm going to do everything I can, financially, physically, mentally, to make sure she does not sit in that seat in 2023 if this gets passed. I give you my word on that. I am really dug in on this, and I am not backing down. The bottom line is, this is 2023, you will see. That's the code. 2023, you will see. You do the wrong thing, there's going to be a problem. You do the right thing, we'll all be happy. But anyway, let me pass the microphone now to one of my valued friends. A very good friend, actually. You know, more than a friend. My good guy.
Why not put this in the window?
Yes, then that'll be done.
Otherwise it'd be a window.
We have John Serini. So give John, my good friend, a big hand as he takes the mic. Hey!
Everybody, thank you so much for coming out. You know, I love the support that you guys come out time and time again. I think what we need to do is we need to start having block captains where everyone here can reach out to 20 people, and at the next event we can have a couple of hundred people, and maybe at the next event we can have a couple thousand people, because the numbers need to grow. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you that the next calendar event that's big is June 21st. It's going to be at the Borough President's office. Now, they have something online that says you could sign up. Only 75 people are allowed to go and testify. We don't know how they're going to choose and pick who gets to testify. I mean, some of us have already signed up. Maybe we don't get to pick to testify. But we still should show up on the steps of the courthouse and say, we're here to fight for our community. So we need to make sure June 21st at 6 p.m., if you don't get picked to talk, please do your best to get over to that courthouse. It's over by Yankee Stadium. Hold up your signs, proud, and we got to make sure that the borough president knows we mean business. We do not want these buildings in our community. Like George said, I know my parents bought a house in this community in 1973. They moved into the community in 1967. I was born and raised in this neighborhood. I love this neighborhood the way it is. And it's our obligation, just like George said, to hand it over to our children and their children. The way it is, the way we love it. There's nothing wrong with the way it is, and there's plenty of housing. It has nothing to do with anything other than the fact it's a quality of life issue. We have plenty of laundromats in the neighborhood that tell us that there's plenty of tenants who live in this community. So I'm sick and tired of hearing the false narratives of them spinning it on us, making us into something we're not. We're just a community of hardworking, middle-class people who love our community the way it is. And that's the way we want to keep it. You know, on the meeting that was recently held at Waterbury LaSalle, I asked our councilwoman if she would publicly, I said, I ask you right now to publicly renounce the endorsement of Open New York. And you know what her response was to me? Kind of with a chuckle, I already won the election. So does that mean, Ms. Velasquez, that because you won the election already, that you don't have to support your constituents? Is that what that means? Does that mean that because you won the election, we don't expect you to renounce the endorsement of Open New York? No, we want and we demand that you renounce that endorsement. Open New York is bad for the city of New York. We do not want buildings. We demand that you publicly renounce them and say, all you have to say is that I am against any and all upzoning. That's all you have to say. But you keep dancing around the questions. You came to the meeting and you talked about everything but the upzoning. And then when you were addressed, you managed to tiptoe around it. Well, good job at being a good politician for dancing around it. But we want answers. We want the truth. We want to know that you stand with us and not with the developers. I'm sure that everybody here agrees with me that we want that answer. We just want to hear her say no upzoning, right? Let me hear you say it. No upzoning. No upzoning. That's what we want to hear. All right. George, who we handing it over to now, George? Joe?
Can I say one just?
Sure, John.
I just got two things to say. Stop shopping at Food Town and stop voting for Democrats, goddammit!
These signs, everybody has these signs today too. Please, when you get home, put these signs in your window of your house. Put them in your car. Make sure that everybody sees these signs, and we'll make more. And if you can give us your phone number before you leave today, we'll make a text chain. So this way, at the next event, I will text you all, and I will tell you a week in advance so you can start to spread the word. All right? But keep in mind, June 21st, 6 p.m. at the courthouse on Grand Concourse. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
Give him a big hand. John's the man. Now, a couple of points were raised, and very, very valid points, actually. You know, when it comes to the election cycle, a lot of people have this, it don't matter type attitude, especially in a very, we'll say, a very blue stronghold. You know, and Bronx County is typically known as a blue stronghold. But one thing that's got to be made clear, there's actually one district that's still competitive, and that's our district. CD13 is still a competitive council district. No joke. And I'll give you the numbers. I'll give you some numbers. Across Bronx County, now I'm taking CD13 out of the equation. Across Bronx County, the average margin of victory in a city council race was 62%. That's unbelievable. 62%. That I would even concede is an insurmountable thing. All right, when somebody wins by 62%, that is called a landslide. It's plain and simple. That's a political landslide. Now in CD13, the margin of victory just reached 10% after the full count was done. Originally it was like 9 something, and then finally the final figures, it was at 10%. Now when you do the math, 10% double digits, that's great, but think about it. All you need is half of that. You need 5%, you got a tie race. Getting 5% of the tally, if this thing does not go the way we want, should not be a hard thing to do. I don't see it being a hard thing. The bottom line is this district here, CD13, and a lot of people are unaware, it actually encompasses 2 assembly districts, okay? CD13 encompasses the 82nd over here and the 80th AD, which is Nadia Fernandez, and our guy is in the 82nd. Mike Benedetto, who has already expressed our support for the community in this. Now the thing is this, when we broke down the election for council, Alex Michi, who, in my opinion, could have been a stronger candidate, without a doubt, and I'm not going to disparage anybody or critique anybody, actually won the 82nd portion of the district. She actually lost her home district. She did not win her home district. She won the council seat by carrying the 80th AD by a lot. That enabled her to get victory. Now, over in the 80th AD, there's some goings on now. Now, right now, like I said, I'm not trying to scare anybody because this is at a hearing stage. Over in the 80th AD, there's some things going on now that there's talk about invoking at some point eminent domain, which is not a nice word people want to hear. And it's all due to the Metro North project that a lot of people want to see go through, both politically and the community. There's no doubt about that. But once that gets established, the areas around the subways that are being talked about in the eminent domain realm right now, the properties around there, what do you think is going to happen to them? There are some of those are low density around Stillwell on the other side of Pelham Parkway. What do you think is going to happen over there? They're going to be faced with upzoning. So, just recently we've been getting some reach out from the other side of town. So hopefully, we'll say our army grows and encompasses not only the 82nd portion of CD13, that it grows into also the 80th portion of CD13. And when that happens with a unification, we can be virtually unstoppable. Our low density, if we are united, can have a say, okay? Let's be frank, let's call it like it is. If Co-op City wants something, you have thousands and tens of thousands of people in there. That's tens of thousands of voters. They want something, politicians listen. In the low density areas, they'll go to one civic and say something, go to another and say another thing. And the civics don't really speak to one another the way they should. There isn't that pipeline of communication that's needed. And that's going to be established. We're going to be doing that. I'm going to make sure that's done. We're going to be getting the word out from community to community and make sure that we have the unification that's needed. Because when you look at it, the bottom line is a community is just common unity. That's what it is. And it isn't just one person. It takes all of us together that puts the U in unity. It's all of us. And without all of us, nothing gets done. This is a collective issue. This is a we issue, an us issue, a you issue, a me issue. We got to do this together and we can get it done. I really mean that. And I say that from the heart. We really need to protect the things that we value. And the things that we value most are always worth fighting for. You don't give up on things that you value. Value determines our necessity. And going forward, just know, together we can do this. Now, I'm gonna go and we're gonna hand the mic over to a good guy. He's a recent friend, and guys have been used to the John and John team, John Provetto, John Morano, cleaning our community for many years. And maybe there's something in the name of John that has something to do with this, but John Cortez, let me tell you, this guy is phenomenal. Him and his brother, they're like a wrecking crew. And, it's my pleasure and honor, actually, to hand this over to John. John, it's all yours, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Some of you know me, some of you don't. I'm John Cortese. I do a lot for the community, and I do a lot of it behind the scenes. I don't mention a lot of it because when I do, I get bombarded with requests. And I am a one-person show, basically, and I try to do a lot. So let's just talk about the trash. I've been going around. I started this project in last spring, and I've been picking up garbage all around the community. I cover Bronx Neck and I cover Country Club. I take all that garbage, I put it in a bag, and I put it in my brand new car, and I haul it away to the Department of Parks by Veterans Park, which I got permission to do, or by the Triangle by Miles and the Prospect Expressway. I have my brother helping me, I have some friends helping me, and I've met some wonderful, wonderful people in the community picking up garbage. So the joke is, our friendship started over garbage, and it really did. I mean, it's amazing the people that I have met. I actually had people pull over, come out and say, "Are you John?" "Yes, I am." And they actually gave me money to buy bags and certain things. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for that. I also helped a lot with the cats in the community. Cats are our friends. They help keep the rodents away. They if they are fixed, they're spayed and neutered, they do help, you know, and people are like, "Oh, what should I do?" I've heard horrific stories of what people do with the cats. Oh, okay, we're gonna start walking. But anyway, thank you for your support. If you see me out there picking up garbage, before I came, I did 5 bags of garbage. If you see me picking up garbage, honk, give me the thumbs up. It makes me feel good. Thank you.
All right, one thing before we all step away. Everybody here can do something. When you get home, you can write an email to Marjorie. You can call her office and tell her how you feel. Get your neighbors to do the same thing. Everybody can do something. So when you get home, write to her, call her, and tell her you don't want this upzoning. You want her to invoke deference. Period. End of story.
All right, before we disembark and go here, I'm just going to bring up Pat McManus. He's got to say a couple of things, and then we'll be walking in the next 2 minutes, okay?
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I just want to introduce myself, Patrick McManus. I am the chairman of the Bronx County Conservative Party, and we firmly stand with you guys. I met my wife. I was lucky enough to meet my wife, who's a lifelong Bronx Neck resident. My wife Carol, about 20 years ago, and I moved into this community. I love it. I want to keep it the way it is. Recently, I was approached by Samantha Zerka. Come on up here, Samantha. Samantha is going to be running for New York State Senate in the 34th Senate District. Alexandria Biaggi's old seat. Now, it looks like her opponent is going to be Natalia Fernandez, who is in every way a socialist, and she is working on destroying New York State. So I want to introduce you to Samantha. She's been here at Bronx Neck for 32 years, and I'd like to have her say a few words.
Hi everybody, my name is Samantha Zerka. I am a Bronx-born girl, born in Fordham Hospital, Sedgwick Avenue, Marshall Parkway, been at Bronx Neck on Randall Avenue for 32 years. I raised my children here, and I never thought I was going to step out and become a politician. I don't think anybody really. But the way our state is being run today and the way our community is being attacked today, it left me no choice. So I am going to be running for 34th District for the Republican Conservative parties. I do not support upzoning, and we are going to take back our community and our state. We need people to step out. We need everybody to step out and vote this year. This year is the most pivotal year of our life. This is the year we spread the word and we step out and vote. We will make change in this community and in the state of New York. Thank you so much.
All right, let's start the walk, folks. Let's get a move on up there to Food Town.
John, you're gonna hold that?
I might have to use some of your videos.
This one here, he's the New York guy.
upzoning.
He's a beagle. He's very well fed. So I've been.
Listen, Michael.
Yes.
I want to be very clear with you. I do not want you using my videos.
Okay.
My videos are created for reporting purposes so that people can see these events and form their own opinions. Your videos are advocacy videos. I do not want you using my footage in your advocacy videos because what I'm doing is reporting. Is that what you have to say?
I'm listening. That's what I'm here to do.
Are you
Listen.
clear on what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
Do you ever go to Wesley?
Okay.
Well, I went there the other day. Actually, I never go there. Yeah, it's so good though, the deli department. Yeah, they're what's going on? They said my husband smokes. I get the. I'm on drugs with the smokes right now. Oh, like the old things. The cigarettes I get on what goes to what. That's silly, but we need to go for our doggy. My husband had surgery, got sick, he got sick, I got sick. You need to go to the ER. I can't go to school. Hi, can I just ask you, I'm new at this now. I don't know the area. What's your name that everybody's going crazy? What's your name?
Michael Cass.
Michael Cass? What do you have do you put something out or?
Yeah, I have a Twitter.
A Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you honest? Are you telling it as it is? I don't know. This is the first time when I see. No, he can change whatever he wants. I know my words. You want to speak to me, you can speak to me. I'm just curious to know why everybody was doing what they were doing to you.
Well, I disagree with these
Disagreeing is one thing, but if you post it, it should be posted the way it is. That's all I'm asking. Do you do that?
I would say I do.
You would say you do.
Yeah.
So if I go and I look you up, I'm going to see what you posted today, and it's going to be exactly what happened.
Well, I do have...
Or is it going to be put in your words the way you see the vision?
No, it's your words.
It's our words.
But you can caught editing shit and changing shit. So you should play the fucking video the way it is, full force. Don't edit nothing. How about why can't you do that?
I think
Why
it
can't
should
we
be
do
the
that?
fair
Well,
way of being.
Twitter only allows 2 minutes and 20
Fuck
seconds.
Twitter.
You're only on Twitter.
Yes.
Okay. Michael, how do you spell your last name?
K-A-E-S-S.
K-A-E-S. Okay. I want to see what you post. Only because when I see people getting in another person's face, I get a little like, why?
Yeah.
So I'm going to use, and I like to see for myself. So I will look and see what you post. I've been here, so now I'll know. Thank you.
Facebook message.
Okay, great.
The employees are housing for veterans.
300 houses, 14 houses for veterans.
Boycott Food Town! No bueno! Food Town, no bueno, Maria!
Take your arms away. No upzoning. Boycott Food Town.
Send people to tear them down if you put them on top. Put these signs in your window. Don't put them where they can be put down. They tear them down all
Don't go in their driveway. Don't go in their driveway. They're crooks. They're not your friends. The guy lives in New Jersey.
Florida, but he wants to put lower income drug houses on the corner. The value of your house is where you should be trying to tear down. Giving way to land development. You want a house in Shepherd Food Town?
Stop shop here. Boycott Food Town.
Watch your back, miss.
Thanks.
Where is it? Over the line? Don't shop here! Don't shop here! Boycott Food Town!
That's Donna. Donna, she lives around the corner. Yeah, she don't shop here. She lives on Hobart. Right around the corner. Yeah, she don't shop here.
Don't shop here! You live in the neighborhood? Shop here!
Really shouldn't shop here. Yeah, one of the bonus boys. This is another one of the bonus boys. This guy. That's right. He won't have a job soon. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. No, you're right.
Doesn't care about the Bronx. The Bronx lives in New Jersey. They don't care.
Boycott Food Town!
I'm from Queens, so I have no idea. But look at it this way. A lot of this started coming, we'll say, back in the census, after census 2020. When New York lost the people.
Food Town wants to destroy our beautiful community!
While you have something, send it to her. Sign up. Yeah, but it's Bronx, there's a whole thing the other thing is going to do a second hearing in a video.
Doesn't care about this community. Doesn't care about us in the Bronx.
You think that's legal? That's labor workers. That's what you're doing, paying the minimum wage.
No, they really can't stop. That's what.
Yeah, this bad.
Do not shop here!
The Bible lives in New Jersey. He doesn't care about us in the Bronx.
Keep busy.
Looks like you have no interest.
I have plenty of interest. I live in the council district. I live in the zip code.
Boycott Food Town! They don't care about the community! They want to destroy us! We do not have room for 5 more million people! We already have 600 million.
Oh, John, me and my
Boycott Food Town.
Don't shop here.
Don't shop here.
Don't support the upzoning.
You really shouldn't be shopping here. These people are gonna ruin your neighborhood, hon.
Pink card.
Okay, at 1 o'clock, there's going to be a band here, so it's only 12:20. There might be catch people coming in. Right. Yeah. I can't believe it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, get my son going there. You remember when that lady going in the driveway?
Don't shop here. What are you doing? You really shouldn't be shopping here.
Miserable. Even the cashier. You know, I go to
Severely.
They're so nice.
He wants to build high-rise buildings and make us live like right here. He wants to make this into that, and it's only going to start. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. The crime is going to go up. Our police departments are going to be all backed up. We're backed up already. Sanitation, it's going to cause a big devastation in our community. He doesn't care. He lives in Jersey. Let him put it by his house. Let him put it by his house.
Hey Joe, that's the guy that was, that's the guy, the bald guy with the shiny shit.
Anything bigger than a two-family home.
One in the blue shirt, like Joe. One in the red shirt.
I don't know the answer to. The answer is we do need more housing. I support this. I mean, we're going to put a new supermarket inside the building. It's all going to be better.
I guess we'll see, right?
I have no idea.
All right, then see it.
It's a different guy. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's there anyway.
Yeah. Right, there's not going to be a price. She's going to be in November. I was with them. But they got so far away from
So, do you want to ask me any questions?
Yeah. Okay, that's a better frame there. Would you like to tell me? Yes, tell me who you are.
New York State.
Yes.
Senate District 34. I'm out here today in support of this no upzoning because I live in the community. I've been here for 32 years. And I think that our quality of life will be affected dramatically by the congestion of these apartment buildings that they wish to put up in our community. So I'm here to support them, and that's about it so far.
What do you say to people who are concerned about affordable housing and are saying that, you know, rents and housing costs are very high in New York City right now, and we need to build wherever possible in order to
What is
address
going
that?
to change about that? I mean, I don't think that we have an issue here for affordable housing. We have plenty of tenants. I mean, mostly there are a great deal of tenants here, and the housing market is pretty reasonable. So,
what about citywide, though? I think that a lot of people think that we have to, you know, just build wherever possible so that people from anywhere in the city
we have to use common sense building, and we have to use common sense, you know, infrastructure expansion. We can't just, you know, drop the bomb in a community that has pretty much as much as it possibly can undertake. Do I say that building is a necessity? If it helps for low-income housing, yes, but does it, it's not common sense to just drop it in our community the way they're anticipating it. So common sense approach is always the best approach.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about your campaign and the other issues that are important to you?
There's a lot of things that are important to me, and I'd love to have another opportunity to interview with you on a more intimate basis.
Certainly.
But I'll leave that for that next time if possible, because I'm just about ready to walk away.
Of course.
I had a meeting at 12:30 and I'm already late, so I appreciate your time, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
NYC for yourself on YouTube.
I'm sorry?
NYC for yourself on YouTube.
NYC for yourself on YouTube? Then I'm going to look you up.
Yeah.
And I think Pat said he had your telephone number.
Yes.
So then I'll reach out to you, because I would love to extend this interview more in depth. You know, I would want you to know the person that I am and what my campaign is running on and what my mission is.
Sure.
But I really do have to get going. I have a couple of people I have to say goodbye to, and I want to just congratulate everybody for their efforts today.
I appreciate you talking with me.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
I'm not taking it out on you. I'm not taking it out on you. No, you are taking it out on him. Leave him alone. Come on. Leave him alone.
Shop at Food Town!
Yeah, you shop now.
Yeah,
you're gonna ruin your neighborhood, hon.
Do not shop at Food Town!
Somebody told them to put it in Did you send me Samantha's video?
It's live right now. I'm live on YouTube right now.
Okay.
But I will.
Yeah, last time I think you sent.
Would you like to comment on camera about this?
I don't know.
Okay. All right, great. Tell us who you are and why you came out today.
Okay, my name is Patrick McManus. I'm a 20-year plus resident of Throgs Neck. I grew up pretty much my entire life in the Bronx. When I was born, my family lived at Morris Avenue and 183rd Street, which is a very high density population area of the city. It's also the most dangerous block in New York City. Police officer Mirasota's familiar was killed on the block where I was born. In 1974, my family had the opportunity to move to the Pelham Parkway area of the Bronx. Bronx, which was still a medium density community. We lived in an apartment building, and we had the opportunity. It was a little nicer. We had parks around. It wasn't as dense. The streets weren't as crowded. Still apartment building living. When I grew up, I became an adult. I was afforded the opportunity to move here to Throgs Neck and purchase my own home and live in this beautiful low-density community. I've told people, I achieved the American dream. The American dream. I came from a densely populated to my own home, all without ever having left the borough in which I was born. If this plan goes through, this upzoning, and it spreads throughout this neighborhood, which it is, and this city, you're going to leave people like me with no other alternative but to leave New York City and leave the Bronx, the borough. As I said, I spent my entire life here. I accomplished the American dream without ever leaving the borough in which I was born, the few square miles. You're going to take that opportunity away from future generations if we keep this overbuilding and this upzoning.
When you say the American dream, you mean owning your own home?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I worked hard. As I said, I was not handed this, as they say, generational wealth. I was born, we lived in apartment buildings. Prior to me being born, my mother and father, when they got married, lived on Walton Avenue. I was handed nothing. And I did it all in the Bronx. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I want my kids to have that opportunity. I want everybody's kids to have that opportunity. And it's being stolen.
What do you say to people who are saying that a development project like this will provide affordable housing? We have a housing crisis in New York, rents are very high, and we just need to make more housing available to people.
We have plenty of areas in the Bronx with high density housing that there are housing available. And to the point, if you look at the plan, there's the minimum. If their heart was truly in providing affordable housing, why are they only making the minimum legally required number of low-income housing in this project? They're claiming they're doing this for the good of the poor people. Then why aren't they making 50% affordable housing? Okay, they're making the barest minimum. They're claiming they're doing this for veterans housing. I think it's about 2% of these apartments are going to be provided for veterans. If their hearts were so genuine, they would be doing much larger numbers than the minimum legally required number of units to get this project through.
So you think it's disingenuous?
I think it's absolutely disingenuous. You could look at other projects around the neighborhood on Jarvis Avenue. They did a complex of 30, within our building guidelines, 35-foot buildings, single family attached, and they built a whole little community of that. They can do that here, and they can make millions. They can make millions taking this property and doing the very same thing they did over there and build within the existing building codes. Instead, they're choosing to try and make hundreds of millions by putting up these monstrosities. The community doesn't want it, and it doesn't fit the community. As I said, build 35, 2.5-story, single-family homes. On this plot, you could build enough where you could make $100 million. But they want to go for the pie in the sky, and they want it all. It's absolutely 100% greed-driven.
Would you like to say anything about the Conservative Party? I know that you're...
Yes,
I'm
first and foremost.
Our infrastructure doesn't support all these buildings. The sewerage system, the firehouse, the local hospitals, there's other things to look at. Besides which, have they done a survey of whether the ground underneath can support an 8-story building? I took some architecture. That's the first thing you have to look at. If the ground underneath is strong enough, there's a lot of underground water in this whole area.
Just to explain to people who don't know the area, we're how far from the water? Maybe
we're far
a mile
from the water,
right now.
But on the other side, we have the creek,
which they shut off to make the Lehman High School football field. Where do you think that water went? It's still underground there, and it seeps up. That's what I'm saying. There's so much to look at, and our congestion with traffic and parking, it will be an impossible situation. They could make nice running 1- and 2-story houses, or 1- and 2 family, for young families who want to come to a neighborhood like this that is similar to a little piece of suburbia and has taxes that make the house affordable. Why do you want to do this? It's just maddening. But thank you for listening.
All right, you want to jump back on? No, that's quite all right. Everybody should be heard. So, as I was saying, I am also the chairman of the Bronx County Conservative Party, first and foremost a resident of this neighborhood. And as a conservative, I firmly believe in development. And I like to see capitalism in action, and I'd like to see less government regulation. However, I want to see sensible development. We need to do things to enhance our communities, not change them. We have a lovely community here. And what these developers are seeking to do is totally change that. That I don't agree with. Sensible development. We need to have a balance for the landlords and for the tenants. And, the Bronx Conservative Party, that's what we stand for.
You're talking about landlords and tenants, and it's noticeable that when you talk about your own story,
yes,
you're talking about achieving home ownership.
Yes.
And this proposal would be all rentals, correct?
It would be, I'm sorry?
Rentals. It would be a rental development.
I believe that is the point.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not offering people something that's equivalent to what you were able to have.
It actually is.
Well, in terms of home ownership.
I grew up, as I said, I lived, until adulthood, I lived in 60 to 70 unit apartment buildings. So yes, I had that opportunity. And there's plenty of places in the Bronx to achieve that. We can't destroy basically all the parkland, I don't see it as environmentally friendly. All the points that are being pushed by this current movement to upzone and groups like Open New York, they don't want any 1 and 2 family. They want like a minimum 10 family housing and all. At the same time, they claim to be environmentally conscious. Well, those two things are diametrically opposed to one another. If you look around here, you see we have areas of grass, we have trees, we have little parks. You go down to where I grew up, where I was born, 183rd Street and Morris Avenue, there's not a tree, there's not a park, there's not a patch of grass. So how is covering all of that environmentally friendly? And yet somehow many people are buying into this, that these ideas are environmentally friendly, and they're not. They're not environmentally friendly, they're not community friendly, and they're least of all friendly to our youth. Overcrowding schools. Yes, we need to expand these things. The school across the street, it's been expanded twice in the last 10 years, and it's still filled to capacity. The Board of Ed has said there's no more space for them to build schools. I've read reports that one of the biggest problems is the Board of Education can't find any more land to buy schools. That's why they're taking away all the schoolyards from our kids. You look, I grew up across the street from PS 105. I played in the playground every day. That playground now is filled with trailers of classrooms. It's taking away from our children. It's not giving them anything. It's taking away. Is anything else?
Is there anything else you'd like to say about this development or about the Conservative Party's priorities?
Well, again, I'm trying to build the party here. We're common sense. The country, the state, and the city on all levels of government have become way too polarized. If you're on the left, you won't speak to anybody who's not completely on the left with you. And if you're on the right, it's the same thing. And what we need to do is start realizing we're all entitled to live our own lives. And, you know, I don't want the government involved in my life. I don't want other people telling me how to live my life, as long as I'm not infringing on other people. And, you know, now it's very polarized. And as the chairman of the party, I'm trying to unify that. I'm trying to bring everything in. I'm trying to bring people together. I'm working with Democrats. I'm working with Republicans for common sense solutions. This is not a common sense issue. This is a money issue. It's 100% money issue. And I can't reiterate it enough. If your heart is so good, why are you doing the minimum for the poor and the veterans? Okay, step up. Maybe you can make your project more palatable in other ways. But we want our zoning to stay the way our zoning is. We don't want to change. Build all you want within the zoning that exists right now.
Thanks very much for talking with me.
No worries. Do you still have my email by any chance? Yes. Thank you very much.
With the traffic coming down that tree line, those two bus lines are supposed to work. It's like the freaking Long Island Expressway. They don't move. You're talking about mass transit. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know how
Have you been here every school when they triple park here to get their kids out? Have you been here at 2:30 when they dismiss you? And people triple park in order to get their kids? This is before the congestion is on the streets.
He is a freak.
Are you kidding? You really should live in a community for a while and watch what happens. It's too congested. This is just going to add to the congestion. It's so obvious. I don't understand why you don't see something so obvious.
So what are you doing to get people out of cars?
Say again?
What are you doing to get people out of cars so there's less congestion?
Who says that's our responsibility? That's not our
Get more
responsibility.
people. Oh, so
out of cars?
how would mass transit change picking up your kid after school?
You can take mass transit to school.
So if I'm picking my kid up, I'm going to come on a bus, pick him up, get him on a bus, and take him home?
That's all I do with my son.
You're as dumb as you freaking look, man. I'm telling you, you can't do that in a community like this. You can't. I'm going to take mass transit to get my kid from PS.
Boycott food
and then bring him back on the bus? Are you kidding
not
me?
here. You're
And
gonna
I
help
live in
to
country
destroy your
club?
neighborhood.
That's 2 buses. Oh, you're so naive. How naive can you be? You got to pick him up in a car, and you got to take the kid home to his home. That's the way it works in this world. You pick your kid up at school and you take him home, or you walk to school and you walk him home if it's a short distance. How naive are you? Mass transit. What does that have to do with anything? As far as picking kids up. Oh, you know.
You're opposing it on that basis.
You're talking generics. You're talking generics. I'm talking specifics. I'm talking about one simple matter. Picking your kids up from school. And you're saying, well, that's why you want to see an increase in mass transit.
Yes.
What does that have to do with picking kids up to school? What is it? Tell me. Should I come on the train from Pelham Bay, take the bus over here, pick my kid up, take the bus back to the train, and then take him back near Pelham Bay Park? Instead of coming in a car? How naive? Are you incredibly naive?
What mass transit would you put on the streets here that would enable people to say, okay, I'll leave
He doesn't
my car
have kids.
home,
First,
and
you have
I'll
children?
come over.
I have 2 kids.
How old are they?
My son just turned 5.
Okay.
My daughter's 1.
Okay, and you picked them up what? On a train or a bus?
We take the bus.
You take the bus to pick them up, okay?
Yes.
Okay. How far away is he?
In Manhattan.
Okay.
So why are you even here? How does this affect you?
Yeah.
Wait,
How does this affect you?
You what? Your kid's on private school?
Oh, this kid's so
So what,
naive.
you're on a trust fund?
This kid is so
Oh my
naive.
God, he sends his kids to a private school.
Is you or your wife?
Oh my God, he won't even put him into the
He
public
has no
school
clue.
system.
He has no clue.
What's wrong with the schools
He's
in
been a parent
Morris
for 5 years.
What's wrong?
It was up to my wife. So
what-
ask her.
Why, you don't
Yeah.
like diversity? It has to be with all white people. It has to be with all white people.
No.
I doubt it. If it's a private school, I doubt it's diverse. I doubt it's diverse.
Holy cow.
That's not nice to say. That's not nice to say. It could be diverse. Just because it's private doesn't mean it won't be diverse.
Yeah, but what's wrong with I went to public school.
I don't find anything wrong with public school. Well, saying that's a head about it.
Yeah, but he's always met saying
your children go to public school, then you can give an opinion.
I went to public school. I actually do want my kids to go to public school.
I went to private. I went to Catholic school, St. Catherine's in the Bronx.
Hey, St. Catherine's. You're Villa Maria. That's private. My niece went to Villa. That's private.
It's a beautiful school,
That's
Villa
a
Maria.
private school. She's your age now, but she went there.
That's between the Amtrak main line and
But how would you like? I had to take 2 buses to go to school.
about
But in today's world, I graduated in 1980. I wouldn't want my kids getting out of the
If your wife's on a trust fund, why you gotta get? So if your wife's on a trust fund, you're not
sewer, electricity, and they could put up 20
Your wife goes on a trust
and
fund.
nobody
I have a good
in
age.
No, but your wife,
say a
her
word about
family, her
it. Would say a
parents.
word about
Do
it.
they live
But
on a
that's not
trust
the
fund?
purpose here. The
No.
purpose
No? Oh, all right, because then how they
this
afford it?
community.
The school's got to be 30,000-40,000 a year. No
I
way.
paid for it.
In Manhattan?
Yes, I
In
paid for it.
Manhattan?
across from the dump. Okay?
I don't believe you're making 500,000
They're
a
living in
year.
the
I don't
woods.
make 500,000, but I work for
That
my
would be
kids.
a great place to put. Great alternative. Great alternative.
Basically, if I could just
I don't think so. What's the bus that runs out there to Boston or something? Number 5? They would have to extend it from where it terminates in the off months.
Well, I think you might remember.
But it'd be a short extension. Put in a bus turn, you could loop them right into the.
That's a great idea.
Barely. School enrollment has dropped. I checked the school enrollment numbers. They've been dropping.
Why are they so crowded?
They went at school.
They probably went to private schools like
They're
yours.
eating their classmates.
What did they say in 2016? That it wasn't
What did
crowded?
they say in 2016? The
He's
situation
suffering.
has changed since 2016. You tell me the
So
population.
for people who fought against
Let me finish.
Woo!
You're saying that Leonard Pavone, do what he's going to do, okay, is going to somehow contribute to alleviating homelessness crisis. I like
Do not support Food Town.
exists right
Do
now.
not support Food
How do you see that happen when there's not a single apartment there that's really going to be rented at any rates that are substantially and materially lower than the rates that are currently available? They are requesting, okay, option 2 under mandatory food housing. That's pegged
Trust me, I'm in Manhattan until rich.
to median income. So whoever can afford to live right now will be the only people who
And look, that's going to keep people from
No, it's not. No, it is not, because this is what's going to happen. If you take a look at the history of one of the developers, Mr. Marciano, and I'm most probably going to find it now. Now, whoever's name is on the paperwork, people who live here know that Mario runs the show. Talk to any of Mario's tenants. Ask them how often the apartments are maintained. Ask him how often, when something is broken, he fixes it. I'm sure you'll be somewhat surprised. Bear in mind, this is a dude who was in partnership with Vinnie Gorgeous. Now, you don't live here, so you don't know who Vinnie Gorgeous is. Am I right? This is also a dude who sold 6 properties, I think it's 7, to a notorious drug dealer. Okay? Had the property seized by the federal government under asset forfeiture. These are the people that you want us to entrust our future to. Because they're developers, so they can do no wrong. They're wonderful people, am I correct? This fella here, cheated his own workers. Wound up paying the settlement $254,000. Wasn't even paying the minimum wage. I can show you the paperwork. I can show you the lawsuit.
you posted a lot.
Okay. So these are the people that you're supporting as the saviors of this community.
Look, all I care is that they build the housing.
Oh, you don't care what type of housing?
Of course I care about the type of housing.
Okay, you don't
I
give
support
you don't
all
give a
kinds
shit
of
if the heat's going to be on in the winter. You don't give a shit how they're going to run
Let's
it.
worry about
All you-
building the
no,
housing
no.
first.
Let's worry about what happens afterwards, because once they're built, there's no going back.
And that's
Okay?
a good thing.
That's up to you, maybe, but not to the rest of us.
Yeah, I was.
So, Michael, would you like to explain your point of view on camera?
Look,
We have a housing crisis, and we need more housing everywhere. All neighborhoods need to contribute, and that includes Throgs Neck.
Okay, what about their concern that the entire neighborhood will be upzoned and that will change in a radical way the type of neighborhood it is in terms of it being a low-density neighborhood now and it becoming a high-density neighborhood?
Well, look, I read the letter that the community board chairman sent to city planning, and they were complaining that this was an apparent spot zoning, as in not expansive enough. So, and I thought they would be more happier with a spot zoning. So it doesn't really make sense to me.
Do you understand that their concern is that
there's
there
going to
will
be
upzoning
more
through-
upzoning?
Yes, throughout the neighborhood.
I mean, look, I would be in favor of more upzoning, especially around Trans and Pelham Bay. Pelham Bay was previously downzoned. I think that should be reversed.
So you think that there should be larger developments throughout this
Absolutely.
area, the Bronx?
Absolutely. I believe the area can support it.
Are you, how do you balance the concern for communities' opinions, you know, the opinions of people who live in the community with the need for housing?
Well, look, we have to provide the services. You know, for example, I talk about the school expansion. The school originally was going to have a larger expansion. Council member Jimmy Vaca, according to him, he had downsized it. And even then, the current iteration that's being built, the community opposed it, said there was too many extra seats. So it puts a bad taste in my mouth when the folks who say, oh, we're never going to fill all these seats, are now turning around and saying, oh, we don't have enough seats in just a few short years. So were they wrong before? It seems to me that they'll use any pretext to keep the status quo.
So my question was really, how do you feel about opposing the will of community members? I think you have been attending events related to this issue for a long time, as have I, and we have both seen that community members have overwhelmingly opposed this project. So I understand that you're advocating for affordable housing. Do you think that your advocacy for affordable housing should override the will of the community members who are opposed to it? How do you balance those things out?
I mean, look, the reality is the most activated people is usually the same group of people that show up to every community meeting.
Yes.
And I think it's incorrect to say that they represent the entire community, because I think the average person, you know, isn't paying attention. And, you know, if you ask in abstract terms, people are in favor of more housing.
Have you done that?
Have done what?
Have you asked people in abstract terms in this community whether they're in favor?
They did polling for the city. And I think you do see that there is a substantial percentage of folks who believe that housing is important. Affordable housing is important.
Throughout the city?
Yes.
But you have not, you're making some assumptions about how people who have not shown up to these events feel in this community, right? You have not actually asked them how they feel about this development.
I've been around long enough to get a sense. I've been to open houses where I see folks that I've never seen before, and they have a different opinion than the regulars, I should say.
Than the people who live here?
The regulars, the people who always show up to every community board meeting, that sort of thing.
Okay, because there have been very few people who have shown up to those meetings who have been there in support of this development from the community. Do you think that's fair to say?
I mean, there was some folks who spoke out and they were booed loudly.
You. You were.
Well, also there was a woman who spoke who lived in this community.
Who grew up here, yes.
Yes. Yeah. And she was jeered.
Okay.
So I think you can understand why people who might support this don't come out if they're going to be, jeered like that.
So you're assuming that there is support for this development in the community, but people aren't out voicing it?
I think there's a component to there. I mean, you even had one community board member who didn't vote against this proposal, who said that they felt unsafe to speak about it, that they felt unsafe to express their opinion about it.
Who said that to whom?
It was in the executive board minutes for Community Board 10.
Have you felt unsafe?
Well, I mean, this is why I got this thing. I mean, I've been to events, like, not related to the upzoning, but I've been assaulted before. So, after that, you know...
But not by this community? Not related to this issue?
No, though...
Okay. But, you have come to these events and shot video,
Yes.
and then you've made what I think it's fair to characterize as attack ads that you've posted on Twitter about the people in this community who are opposed to the development. Do you think that's a fair characterization?
No, I wouldn't characterize it as that.
How would you characterize your videos?
I get the essence of what people say. The essence. I wouldn't say that, but I hear what you might say is the quiet part.
What is the quiet part?
The subtext.
What is the subtext that you hear?
Well, for example, how should I say? Oh, well, this guy's talking about it.
He said people were being called white supremacists. Is that the subtext that you hear?
Well, that's the subtext that some people hear. Why do you think?
Sorry?
That's the subtext that some people hear.
Is it the subtext that you hear?
Yes.
Excuse myself. If you drive down the Cross Bronx, you're in this valley, and you look up. This is all upzoning, I guess, or all new buildings. And before there were old buildings, and the crowded conditions that people live under there. I mean, in those neighborhoods, and they don't have any peace and quiet. This is like 24 hours a day, loud noise, cars, shots fired, whatever. This is what they want to turn this into.
The shots fired?
Well, hey, listen, if you fill a neighborhood with so many people that everybody's anonymous and they'll do what they want, like it's going on right now in those neighborhoods. Those people are driving around, they shoot at each other. The whole place has become a madhouse. So that's what will happen here, I think.
See, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Concerned
so
about
you
crime.
think people are going to move in here? College graduates, doctors, and all those things, they're going to move in here, right? After they build all these places. Look, my neighborhood is down here, Harding Avenue, and already I've been here 40 years. 40 years I've been here. And right now, it's like sometimes we have music all night long. I think everything's out of control. So building more, I don't see the benefit to that. I don't see a benefit to that. So you're going to fit more people in? And it's not, look, I'm Puerto Rican. I'm brown, right? I'm not racist. But let me tell you, I see people that really get out of control. They come with little mopeds, scooters, cars, spinning wheels around. Why is that? That's because they feel anonymous. They can get away with it. The more people you get into a neighborhood, the worse it gets. That's what I think. I don't know who you are. I hear that you can take a picture. You're a reporter. You're a journalist.
I wouldn't describe myself that way. I'm an advocate.
Advocate for
housing.
For housing. So there are places that have much more land available than here. If I got a little piece of land on the corner on a 50 by 100, I feel good. And you're gonna put a building. You're gonna put a building next door with 60 units, 70 units, cars all over the place. I think these things ought to be considered before they start building. Look like what they want to put here. 8-story buildings in this neighborhood. You can't. This neighborhood can't take that. You think this neighborhood can take that?
Well, I did read the environmental study. I think it can take it.
Who wrote the environmental study? What's that about?
Well, look, I mean, city planning also seemed to agree. I did watch the city planning when they certified the application. The way they responded, it seemed like it was appropriate.
Well, I would think that people like us that we're working hard to keep a little place going, we don't have time to go to city planning meetings most of the time.
Well,
so we're underrepresented.
This was a virtual meeting.
Okay, whatever. I mean, you don't have time to be like, when you are concerned about your community, why would people want to come in and upset everything?
Hey, it's like if you're searching for an apartment, it's kind of like that too.
I know, I realize there's a housing shortage. Yes. But if you put those types of buildings here, where the infrastructure, right now, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can't get that Tremont Avenue. So add another 300, 400, 500 apartments. What's going to happen? It's going to be crazy. So now you have the perspective of someone who lives here, as opposed to people like this guy, wherever he comes from, that he wants to build all these things because he's going to make money out of it. And guess what? If he can't get enough money out of the rents, he'll get Section 8 to pay everybody's rent. Like it's slowly happening now, right? So what's that? That's affordable housing? No, it's the government making more housing out of programs. And then we pay the tax. I don't think that's right.
Well, no, I'm not mad.
I mean, you're a young guy. You've been to school recently. Probably been conditioned.
Been a decade now.
Right. So we like to live in a certain way. And if you come and uproot everything we do, then we feel put out. Regardless if people need help, people are always going to need housing. And they keep bringing more people, so that's never going to end. They'll just keep putting buildings everywhere. And we won't be able to live in a quiet, peaceful place. Because, why? People move into these places, they're anonymous. They can do whatever they want. They can make noise, they can throw garbage. It's a way of life.
Our community every weekend. They want to see.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I'm looking forward to the borough president hearing. I've already registered.
So, do any of the things that this gentleman was saying resonate with you? Do you?
I've heard it all before.
You've heard it all before. Okay. So we were talking about the subtext that you see happening. Do you want to talk about that?
I just think the housing crisis is so severe that it's more important than folks' concerns. That's all I can really say.
I'm live on YouTube, so that discussion was live on YouTube.
No, I'm not attacking him. I'm just
Would you like to know more about your point of view about this? On camera?
Boycott, they want to do that. What is signed? What is signed?
On YouTube. So
Put it in your window. They want to overcrowd our community. And he doesn't want to. Go to people!
Yeah, I think it's time to go. Yeah, I gotta get back to
Hey,
I need what I need.
Hey!
Unbelievable.
Come on! Come here! Go to Fine Face! Boycott Food Town! They want to destroy our neighborhood! Let him convince you. Go ahead. Do not support Food Town! Do not support Food Town! That's the problem we have here. Do not support Food Town! Do not support Food Town! And then when you have a problem with your home,
Don't come crying.
Do not support Food Town. They want to build high-rise buildings. Thank you. Thank you. They want to build high-rise buildings and destroy our beautiful community.
What a loser. This guy's a real fucking
All right. I think it's time.
Well, you know what? If I
Do not support.
Banging on the windows and you're scared to go. So that's not true. You're wearing
There's been no police call. It was today?
Just before you got here. Before you were here. No, we're here. Where were you? Because I was told the things. Were you here?
Right here. We've been watching everything.
Hi, good to see you again.
You weren't here.
Take care.
You weren't here. All right. So if you didn't see, well, you'll see that video. So I'm just saying, you weren't here.
This guy, we helped him get the permit.
Thank you.
I saw you twice. That means I'm
Take
going
care.
to more again.
Yes.
Third time to Charles.
We were good. We had a lot of money. We was fucking free. Yeah, 5 times a day I was there. Really fucking have enough money.
It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. All of them.
You can do it now, but it's never enough. Never enough. Come on the phone.
Boycott, don't come here.